Good morning. This is the notes for Chapter 4, Section 4. Notes. 4.4. And this is graphing a function rule. A function rule is a fancy way of saying equation. So graphing an equation. As you know, recall from algebra or pre-algebra that you have an x-axis and a y-axis. This is x, or this is y, and this is x. The ordered pairs that you get are x first and then y. And remember, you start here. So you go over x units and go up y units for that point. For example, I'll do in red or a different color. Let's say I have 3, -4. And I want to graph that. So I start here and I go over 3 and down 4. And this point right here is 3, -4. All right, so you go positive here, negative, positive, negative. So you should know how to graph points. If you don't remember, that's okay. You can practice a little bit, okay? Graphing coordinate points. So graphing x, y points. You can YouTube it. You can Google it. But it's basic algebra that I think you should know. So what does it mean to graph a function rule? So for example, if I want to graph y equals 2 minus 3x, I want to graph this rule. Okay, the rule is that y equals 2 minus 3 times whatever x is. So you have to get a table. And the table looks like this. You're going to put x here, and then you're going to put the equation right here, y equals 2 minus 3x. And then you're going to put the y value here, and then I like to put the xy coordinate here. When you graph rules, your values for x are given. You're going to get given these. Get given. You're going to get given. So what that means is you're going to start off with these values here are good ones. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. The reason is because you get values close to 0. So you get 1 and 2, and then you get -1 and -2, so you're close to the middle. And if you don't remember that, the middle of the graph up here, that's your 0, 0. All right, that's the middle. The x is 0 and the y is 0. It's called the origin. So we're going to start off by substituting -2 in for x, and then -1 in for x, and then 0 in for x, and so on and so forth. That's going to give us our y. Okay, so we're going to write that down. We're going to do y equals 2 minus 3, and then instead of this x, we're going to put this -2. And that is -2. Oops, I'll use a little thicker color there. -2 in for there. All right, so now you got to figure this out. What does this equal? Well, 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, so the first ordered pair is -2, 8. Now, the second ordered pair is what you get when you substitute -1 in. So 2 minus 3 times -1. You see, that's the value that you substitute in for x right there. All right? So you get a value that you have to calculate. So this one is 2 plus 3, which is 5. So this ordered pair is -1, 5. You see, this x value stays there. This x value is here. And the y values you get, they're outputs, they're values you get from the rule. All right, let's get a couple more here, and it's going to be y equals 2 minus 3 times 0, which is 2, and that ordered pair is 0, 2. Now this one is y, the next one is y equals 2 minus 3 times 1, which is 2 minus 3, which is -1, so that ordered pair is 1, -1. And the last one, we do the same thing where we substitute the values in for x. So you see this is your x. We're substituting in here for this rule, this particular rule. Now all the rules are different. And we're going to get a value out for y. So we're going to write y equals 2 minus 3 times 2, which is -4. So that ordered pair is 2, -4. We have 5 xy's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that we have to put on a graph. Now these should make a line. You should get a line. Now you don't need graph paper, but it's really helpful. So if I put the grid on my paper like that, I can get a nice x and y axis. And it's kind of small, but we can get there. The first order pair is -2, 8. And I like to introduce this with different colors. So -2, 8, which is -1, 2, and then up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And put a dot right there. All right, and then the next order pair is -1, 5. So I'll do -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot right there. 0, 2, which is 0, means I don't go left or right on the x-axis, and then up 2. So you can see my line starting to form there. Now remember that this is the y-axis, okay? This line up and down is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. Okay? So we're going to keep going with these values, with these ordered pairs. 0, 2 is here. And we did that, so it's purple. And then brown, we'll do next. 1, -1, so we go +1, -1. Okay? Now you can see the last one is 2, -4, and we might as well just do a different color here. 2, +1, 2, and then -1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point right there. And you can see that it lines up like this, and that is how you graph a function rule. Now the rule for this line is y equals 2 minus 3x. And every line is different, so I'm going to do one more example, which is a little different, okay? So these are the values that you choose right here for x. But sometimes when there's a fraction multiplied by x, this 3 was getting multiplied by x, but sometimes where there's a fraction, you have to do something just a little bit different, and I'm going to show you that. So the second example is y equals 1/3 x plus 1. All right, so let's get the table. The setup is the same, where you write x here, and in the middle you write your rule, y equals 1/3 x plus 1. And then you write your y values. And now, if you notice the denominator on this fraction, those are the values we're going to choose for x. So we're going to choose multiples of 3. We have to because we don't want those fractions. So I'm going to choose -3, okay? And then I'm going to choose 0, and then I'm going to choose 3. Now, I can choose more like 6. I'll choose 6, I guess, too. Okay. So now I'm going to substitute this -3 in for this x. All right, I'm going to get out a y. And then I'll substitute in the 0 for the x. All right, I'll get out a y, and the same is true for these, just like I did the first table. So I write y equals 1/3 times -3 plus 1, which is 0. I forgot to put my column in here, my xy. So then I get an ordered pair of -3, 0. All right, let's put in 0. 0 times anything is 0, so that works out good. Y equals 1/3 times 0 plus 1. 1/3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. So that ordered pair is 0, 1. And the next ordered pair is y equals 1/3 times 3 plus 1. Now 1/3 times 3 is 1, plus 1 is 2. So this ordered pair is 3, 2. And then the last ordered pair is y equals 1/3 times 6 plus 1, which is 3. And so that ordered pair is 6, 3. So when we graph these, we get a line again. You're always going to get a line. And if you have graph paper, that works best. If you don't, that's okay. You can guess where these are. So like if I'll show you what I mean. If I have a paper with no lines on it, I have to be careful and guess where they are. So anyway, things should line up. -3, 0 is -3 and to the left, 1, 2, 3, and then 0. So it's that point right there. Right, this is -3, 0. All right, so 0, 1 is right here. Now I'm going to go over 3, and I'm going to go up 2. Now remember, these things are lined, so things should line up, huh? This ordered pair is 3, 2. And then I'm going to go over 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 6, 3 here. Again, these things should line up, so you end up with a nice, neat line. You got to keep that in mind, okay? All right, so there's your nice, neat line, and there's your chapter 4, section 4, which is the next chapter we're studying, and that is graphing a function.